There's a famous saying, there's a little bit of truth in every lie, which means that even if a person is lying to you, there must be a pinch of truth in it, and that little bit of truth acts like sugar and poison. It helps it go down. And the same is true for the most anticipated movie of the year, Weapons. Even though the movie follows a fictional storyline, it still is inspired by many real-life events. In this video, I will tell you 3 very horrifying incidents that actually inspired some of the movie events, and let me tell you, this might be scarier than the movie itself. So, turn off your lights, grab something to eat, sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. The plot of the movie revolves around how 17 out of 18 kids of the same town and same school disappear mysteriously at exactly 2:17 a.m. And the most chilling part in the whole trailer, and what people most talk about, is how they ran in the middle of the night. But little do you know, the weird scarecrow run is actually inspired by this horrifying picture, where you see a naked girl running in the same way shown in the movie. The picture is called the Napalm Girl, and it takes us back to June 8th, 1972, Vietnam War.
I remember June 8, 1972.
Nick Utt, a 20-year-old photographer for the Associated Press, strapped on 4 cameras and headed out on Highway 1, north of Saigon. Just after noon, he noticed a South Vietnamese Sky Raider drop 4 napalm bombs. Villagers scattered, and he heard a young girl screaming, "Nong Qua! Nong Qua! Too hot! Too hot!" He looked through his viewfinder and saw that the girl, a 9-year-old Phan Thi Kim Phuc, had pulled off her burning clothes and was running naked down the street. And that's exactly what inspired the director of the movie for the creepy running style.
That's such an unsettling image.
Well, I think it's the posture, right? I think the posture, it begs a question, but we don't even really understand the question.
Right.
He says he knew from the beginning how they are going to run. He also said, "There's that terrible photo of that girl in Vietnam with the napalm burn. I think that image is so awful, and the way she's holding her arms out just killed me. I think there's something really upsetting about that posture. If I had to guess, that might be where the seed is from. I don't know, but there was no second guessing that pose. I knew that they would run that way." And back then, the Napalm Girl became almost immediately an iconic image that for many symbolized the failures of the war in Vietnam. Nick Utt won a Pulitzer Prize for photography in 1973 for taking that picture. So now, when you go into the theaters to watch the movie, don't just think it is a weird running style, because the story behind it is covered in pain and sorrow. And by looking at the response from the trailer, it is safe to say that the director has done a very successful job by taking inspiration and using it in the movie. The second event is much more horrifying, and just thinking about it will give you chills. According to reports, the movie also wants to convey social issues like child disappearance. That's precisely what happens in the film. All 17 kids disappeared from their beds at exactly 2:17 a.m. But let's take a pause and think, what if it were true? What would you do if your kid suddenly disappeared from their bed in the middle of the night and was nowhere to be found? Well, unfortunately, a parent from the United Kingdom has lived that nightmare when their 3-year-old daughter, Madeleine McCann, mysteriously disappeared from her bed when they were on a trip to Portugal. On April 28, 2007, the McCann family arrived at the Ocean Club Resort in Praia da Luz for a 7-day holiday with their 7 friends, a total of 9 adults. The adults often dine at the nearest tapas restaurant, leaving their children asleep in nearby apartments that they rented, and periodically checking on them. For the first 5 days, everything was going well, and the families were enjoying their vacation. On May 3, 2007, just as usual, all the adults were dining in at the tapas restaurant, and the kids were asleep in their apartment, which was 55 meters away from the restaurant. All the adults agreed to take turns checking in on the kids. At 9 p.m., Jerry McCann made the first check on the kids. Everything seemed fine and in place, and the kids were sound asleep. Between 9:05 and 9:15 p.m., Jane Tanner, one of the friends, makes another check and everything is fine, but strangely she saw a man carrying a small child in pajamas near the apartment. At 10 p.m., Kate McCann goes to check again, where she makes a horrifying discovery that her 3-year-old daughter is missing. Over the following weeks, particularly on the basis of their interpretation of a British DNA analysis, the Portuguese police came to believe that Madeleine had died in an accident in the apartment and her parents had covered it up. Their parents became the primary suspects, which was later lifted because of a lack of evidence. Jane Tanner's statement that she saw a man with a kid in pajamas became the biggest hint for the investigation. Another couple also stated that they saw a man with a 3 to 4-year-old girl around 500 meters away from their apartments. And this sketch became the biggest clue in the entire case. Even the British police were called in with sniffer dogs to search the nearby areas. And this became one of the biggest child disappearance cases in the world. And even today, at the time of making this video, Madeleine is still missing. In April, the UK government approved more than £100,000 in additional funding for Scotland Yard detectives investigating Madeleine's disappearance. And for her family, every passing year is both a cruel reminder of loss and a fragile thread of hope that she might still be found. Until definitive answers emerge, the disappearance of Madeleine McCann will remain one of the most heartbreaking and mystifying child abduction cases of our time. And lastly, and the most important incident of all, without which the movie Weapons wouldn't even exist, is heartbreaking rather than horrifying. Zach wrote the story of the movie after he lost one of his best friends, Trevor Moore, a comedian better known for being the founding member of the Whitest Kids You Know.
Honestly, when I wrote Weapons, I was dealing with the loss of someone very, very close to me, and so I wrote this as just kind of a way to just kind of like get that kind of pain out. So I wrote it in kind of a blast. I kind of like vomited this out really, really quickly, and I wasn't thinking about what's my next movie. I was more just thinking about like all of this like pain that I was in.
The movie isn't just about horror and jump scares, but also his personal experience of grief, which influenced the film's exploration of loss and redemption, which, very ironically, he doesn't want the audience to experience.
And I don't think that comes through. I don't want anyone to go see Weapons and think like, oh, a meditation on grief. You know, I'm so over horror movies being about grief and trauma, and you know, that's not interesting to me. But
So, I hope you found this video informative and entertaining. If you did, like the video and subscribe the channel. Also, share this video with your friends who are planning to watch this movie and enjoy the movie.